Hello everyone, and welcome to the 75th episode of the Poorly Planned Podcast.
God freaking damn.
My name is
I've realized something.
Oh boy.
We should probably order the pizza.
It's a great start to the pod.
I'll quickly go ask my mom when we should do that.
Alright, well, Freddy's left for the second episode in a row. It's a great streak we got going. We're getting pizzas. God, it's so weird to podcast without Fidalgard by my side. Anyway, my name is Benedict. You may know me better as BHL Hudson. Here we talk about movies, TV shows, a bunch of nonsense, ordering pizzas, apparently. With me, as always, is my friend, co-host, and currently not in the room or in the recording session, buddy, Frederick. So, yeah. This is great. So, today we're doing another mini-pod. It's pre-recorded February 7th, and we are, in fact...
God, you're lonely.
He's back, yeah. It was wildly uncomfortable. I don't know how I do this for my regular videos. It felt wrong, you know? So, today, on this mini-pod, we're going to be talking about... There's another part 1 episode. Mm-hmm. We're going to be going through 4 of the probably 8 Spider-Man films in existence.
Okay.
So the Spider-Man movies part 1. So there's going to be the Raimi trilogy and TASM 1.
TASM?
The Amazing Spider-Man.
Ah.
Yes. God, you really need to catch up with the culture. So,
TASM. Only cool kids call it that.
So spoilers for all of them. Their time codes in the description. I think we just jump right on into this.
Oh.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm unpredictable.
Know your place. So, first of all, have you seen any of these?
I've seen all of these.
Oh, okay, thank God.
Actually,
To be honest with you, I suspected you hadn't seen it. I was like, this is going to be rough.
I don't remember... I don't think I've seen the first TASM. But who has these days, anyways? No, I've seen all
You've seen the Raimi one, the Maguire trill.
Oh, yeah. I've seen the Maguire trill. The Matrill.
Matrill.
I've seen the...
Peak comedy writer.
Triguire.
It took you way too long to calculate. So, Spider-Man 1, 2002, Sam Raimi directing, Tobey Maguire starring.
Probably my favorite Spider-Man suit.
Ooh. You know, that's a shout, you know.
That's Peng, you know.
It is really good. It's because the Amazing Spider-Man 1 is a bit...
1-1?
There you go. Very good. It's a bit like... People say it looks a bit like a basketball, and I get that. It's a bit like a weird texture. And the new one, while I love it, the CGI is a bit wonky occasionally.
It's just a little cartoony.
Yeah, I think...
I'm more of a gritty, realistic man.
Like Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. I think actually TASM 2, the costume there is pretty epic, but...
I have not seen either of the TASMs.
But I like the Tom Holland one as well for different reasons. But it is an excellent... And it does look real. Like, it does... Yeah. It looks more real than the Holland one. Or like more like definitely. It's there, which is weird because they have, like... They built the Holland one, but it doesn't... It looks very CGI, but still good. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, Spider-Man 1... Sam Raimi, who originally was more of a horror guy.
This came out in 2002, was it?
Yeah. And you can kind of see some of that horror stuff in his superhero films, because although they are super, like, cheesy and early 2000s, there are also moments that are, like in, I mean, we'll get to it, but Spider-Man 2, you remember when Dr. Octopus is in the hospital and then he... Dr. Hospitus? I don't know where I was going with that.
Dr. Hospitus.
The way he looked at me was like, make a pun, and I was like, I'm trying, but I can't.
No, that's just genuine curiosity. I did not remember Dr. Hospity in the hospital.
In the Octopi.
Dr. Hospity and the Octopi.
I don't know, man. I don't know. But he's in the hospital, and then he grabs a chainsaw and cuts everyone's heads off. You remember this scene.
I can't say I do.
Anyway, there's some horror elements incorporated, but Spider-Man 1, it's super cheesy, but I think that's kind of delightful, because it's meant to be.
Yeah.
Like, it's meant to be like a comic book, and it's early 2000s. And, I mean, like a lot of super movies, it is a kid's movie at the end of the day. And it's and I think it's a really well done version of that, where also you can still, enjoy it even if you're a grown man like the two of us.
Wait, what is it? He says, is it Godspeed Spider-Man before he dies?
I think it's probably
Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's something like that. He's, you know what? If you want to get a creepy goblin man, no offense, Willem Dafoe, but you called the right dude.
God damn, they hit the nail on the head.
It's like he is very good at being a creepy.
He is very goblin-esque.
I mean, I didn't want to say it, but like
Also his voice.
it's weird also because his costume they like had an original one that looked a lot more like kind of like the comic or like a goblin-y face, and that one looks way better. And then they decided on this. Like I don't hate the design, but it's the older I get, the less I like it. It's like
The more I grow up and realize how shit it is.
it's like I don't know. It looks very kind of. It's more armored than maybe But to be honest, I kind of like it. Like I know it gets a lot of hate.
I think it's one of the more realistic ones there are, right?
Yeah, but I think if they had a more goblin-y face, it maybe would have worked better.
If Willem Dafoe just didn't have a mask.
But what's his name? The boy, the
Toby?
No, the other one.
Harry?
Yeah, Franco. That's the one. Harry Franco.
Harry Franco.
He's,
That's just what he is.
He's in it. Kirsten Dunst is in it. Mang is the bully.
Oh my god.
Yeah, young Mang.
Young Mang.
Yeah, he
I never realized that.
He had a bit of a glow up. I have a great Mang story to tell you, by the way.
Okay, let's hear it.
All right, so this is the trivia for this one. There's some trivia for each one, by the way, because, seems like a good thing to do, I guess. So, totally not copying the Weekly Planet on that one. So, Mang, apparently, Tobey Maguire, this is just what the story says, is kind of a bit of a dick to work with sometimes.
Oh, really?
And the people on
Honestly,
set...
it would not surprise me. He seems very, mischievous.
He's pulling pranks on everyone all the time. Just putting kick me signs on Mang. And so apparently some crew members offered Mang like $20 or something to, where he's like, he punches him and like Toby dodges it to actually punch him in that moment. And Mang did not accept. Oh, because he probably would have been like fired or something if you knocked Tobey Maguire's like front tooth out. But
Mang brutally beats Toby.
Mang murders him 1 punch KO. Mang shoots a flying knee. It's way more than the guy asked for. The production staff are like, whoa, just wanted the punch. Mang puts him in a guillotine.
Mang
a literal one?
Mang invites him to a formal match in the Octagon.
Fuck. Jesus.
Joe Rogan, of course, attends.
But, there's also the pro wrestling scene or whatever that is.
Oh, right. That's a weird scene.
Yeah, against the Bone Doctor. What's he called? Bonesaw. And he's like, Bonesaw is ready. That's exactly how he says it. Could not be more accurate.
Don't be so defensive. Joe, that is spot on, bro.
The action's fine, I guess. It's very... it's not...
I mean, yeah.
It's early 2000s.
It's cartoonish.
Yeah, it's fine.
I think the web slinging is really good.
Yes, and especially because it was like this was at the start of the superhero kind of
was this like the first proper superhero movie? I know that was Blade before that.
I mean, there was also Superman in the 70s and Batman in the 80s and all that, but like for Marvel, this was their first big because like Blade was before, but it wasn't like Spider-Man is Marvel's most like iconic character. And this is like around X-Men, Spider-Man. This is when they sort of started to get the ball rolling more. And it was the first like big screen, like mainstream thing for Spider-Man. And so, I can imagine the little tykes back in the day would be like, oh my God, it's Tobey Maguire.
Oh my God, it's Maguire.
Run. Mang, get in here.
Mang, I got $20 for you right here.
Mang comes in with a chair. He
saw.
Oh, that was the dumbest moment in pod history. He comes in with a chair saw.
So a scene that, genuinely one of the scenes that's blown my mind or like made me like wowed me the most in cinema is the scene where you slowly see like the little things come out of his fingers. Like the grip things, like the blades or whatever it is they are. I found that so cool. Whenever I saw that, I was like, oh, on the wall,
Okay.
I don't know. I think it's a thing that most people... I'm not weird.
I mean...
It was insane.
Okay. His relationship with MJ is okay.
She doesn't...
She's a bit forgettable in the role.
Yeah.
She's fine. I mean, she screams a lot. They reused her screams for the third one.
Did they?
Yeah.
Because they were just so good.
Yeah, they were like, dude, this is epic.
This right here, that's a scream of a century.
Yeah... I don't know. It's fine. Like again, it's sort of predictable in superhero movie, but this was kind of the original, one of the original like laid a lot of the groundwork for how superhero movies go. And then I think Spider-Man 2 is the perfect example of a sequel where they take, like, the first one laid a good base, and then they build on it. Instead of just redoing the same thing, or even, like, making it, like, going backwards, making it worse, they take everything that was good, and they make it better. So the action scenes are way crazier. Like, the train fight.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
That is a really good scene.
And the clock, it leads into or starts with, like, the clock tower fight, and yeah, it's great.
I think this is also just in the comics, so I guess it's not, like, all credit to the movie. But Doc Octopus is also a very, very, very good villain. Like, it's a sympathetic dude as well.
Yeah, no, and great performance from the iconic...
he gets his octopussies.
That's... God damn it. Iconic actor Alfred Molina. Just classic dude.
What else has he been in?
Raiders of the Lost Ark and a ton of other stuff. Also, according to Alfred Molina, the stunt team would often trick him into performing a stunt. I don't understand how that happens. They dangle a treat and he does a backflip or some shit. And then Mang punches him in the face.
But he pays Mang to do it himself.
But he's really good. And yeah, it's a great character. I think a better villain than the first one. Because the first one, he's a good villain in that he's, like, creepy and has a good, like, villain laugh and whatever. And, like, good villainous voice. But this one, like, is an actual interesting character and good ending to him. And also just action-wise.
You're that Defoe, you're the least interesting character.
Action-wise, the arms add a really cool dynamic to it as well.
Yeah.
And also there's good character stuff for Peter in this. And, like, kind of, like, he's I can't remember. He's sick of being Spider-Man, and so he loses his powers or something.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he?
It's interesting also, this version, all of his powers are, like, organic, because in the comics and other versions, like, he builds the web shooters and stuff.
Yeah.
And this one, like...
Is that in all the comics that he builds them?
No, I'm not sure there's one where... Or, like, a few, but most of the comics and, like, the originals and then the other movies, he builds them. And so I think it's interesting... I think it's interesting that it's also tied to his, like, mental state in this.
I think it's lucky that, since it is organic in this one, that they didn't go full, like, biological correctness, because don't the spiders, like, shoot web out of their butts?
Yeah. There's a pretty
scene
good...
that would have been.
Maguire would have loved that.
Maguire just flinging himself from
the bottom,
building to building, from the bottom.
There's a pretty good actually animation about, like, if he was realistic. And I think the romance stuff, the Harry Franco stuff is actually even better in this as well, because he's like, someone killed my dad, or like Spider-Man killed my dad, I hate him, and Toby's like, ruh-roh. He kind of looks at the camera, he's like, ruh-roh. And then he's like, he figures out that it's him, and yeah, all the subplots are really good in this as well. And again, the Mary Jane stuff, like, she's in love with a fucking astronaut or something, I don't fucking know. And I'm like,
what? With an astronaut?
Or like a guy in the Navy or someone, I don't know, someone like that. But and it's kind of love triangle, and then Harry likes her at some point, I'm pretty sure, and then she's like,
so they broke up?
Yeah,
I don't remember.
The back and forth with that relationship is probably the least interesting part of all this to me. It feels like kind of like they have to do it, sort of like it's sort of a checklist. You know, it was amazing. Simmons is amazing as J. Jonah Jameson, which
he's continued that role in the MCU.
And he's absolutely also. I guess it's a good place to mention this. Spoilers for WandaVision. Episode 5. So that'll be really old by the time this comes out. Do you mind if I tell you? I can hold it if you want.
No, go on, tell me.
Well, guess who shows up?
Simmons?
That would be epic. It's another, like, crossover from another Marvel franchise. It's, in fact, your boy Time in a Bottle.
No.
Pops up there.
Like, the actor?
Yeah. As Quicksilver.
God damn.
Yeah. And it's kind of... So, so
that's her brother, though.
Yeah, so it's... Yeah. So they recast it, but it's, like, weird, and it's, like... And he's like, who's this popsicle? As he points to Vision. It's pretty good. But... I'm assuming by this time it'll have been explained how the that happened, because this is only after episode 5. But yeah, it's very...
How many episodes is it going to be?
9, I think.
9, okay.
So you should watch it, man.
I really do want to watch it.
It's very good. But anyway, so Simmons, excellent. Just perfect performance. He's hilarious. He's perfect for the character. Just brilliant. Brilliant Simmonsing, if I do say so myself.
He simmers on the brink of brilliance.
Oh, he simmered way over that.
He is brilliant.
And then Spider-Man 3... Venom. Knock, knock. Well, it's not even terrible. I think it's okay.
Yeah, I honestly the least memorable of the three, I'd say. Right?
Yeah, I think yeah. I do that a lot, don't I? I think it got so much hate, and it's kind of because I feel like that was around the time where the internet and like YouTube was starting to become more like people were starting to use it more, and so kind of like what's like the bad superhero movie? It's like Spider-Man 3. When you look back on it,
It's like
it's fine.
it's decent.
It's definitely the worst, and there are definitely problems with it. It has too much going on. It's not as like emotionally satisfying or like interesting as the others, but it does have good action, a decent story. Like there's just too crowded, but like if you take the threads out alone, a decent story.
I really like the design of Venom in this.
Yeah,
I like it.
I like the design. I don't like the like size. Like he's just like Topher Grace sized, who's like a pretty small dude.
This is true.
that is a fact.
He's also not great in it.
No, I mean, then there's also the emo. Like yeah, okay, it does have bad stuff in it, and like
it does have the Maguire dance,
which is epic. But I think I also like have sort of fallen the trap, especially when I was, starting to review stuff on YouTube, where I just kind of, I watched it and I was like, yeah, it's fine, but it's like, like you kind of, because everyone says it's terrible, it kind of skews your review. Like even before you go in, you're like, this is gonna be terrible, and then afterwards, like, yeah, that was really bad. When I look back on it, I'm like, it wasn't that bad, and even the really bad parts, they're funny enough, like the Toby dance. Like I think it's interesting to see as like time passes, the like different eras of people sort of turn different ages. That's the most obvious statement I've ever said. As time passes, people get older. But like what I mean by that is,
as time happens, people change.
As like people who grew up with the Star Wars prequels and like the Tobey Maguire films get older, they become sort of like revered as these perfect, like even in sort of like an ironic way, but like because they grew up with them and they loved them. So I think that's also sort of happened here a bit. But yeah, Spider-Man 1 and 2 are genuinely really good. Yeah. Spider-Man 3 is fine.
And Spider-Man 3 has the Sandman.
he's pretty good, to be fair.
I like the Sandman.
And there's some great action too, like the use of the Sandman's fucking sand face in some of the action scenes and his sand body. Like, yeah. No, not that part, but where he like smashes his face Mang style against the train.
Oh, that is also very good.
Because Mang would do that. Let's be real.
That's some A-Train shit.
Yeah. I don't know, and then it ends with Harry Franco dying, which is, sad, I guess. Which, yeah. It's fine. I mean, his arc is...
He became the new Green Goblin, but then he's a good Green Goblin. Has the Green Goblin ever been good, is the question. In the comics.
I guess. Harry Franco.
I mean.
Yeah, the final action scene's very meh. Like, Venom, the effects look good, but it's just, like, also his place in the story is just... You can tell Sam Raimi was forced to put him in, which he really didn't...
Yeah, what is the main, like, story arc there? Is that Venom?
No, I mean, I think it was supposed to be Sandman, villain, and then wrapping up the Harry story from the other two films, which I think would have made for a really good film. And then I think the studio was like, we need to get Venom in there because it would, sell lots of tickets. And then they had to...
Eminem's got that new song out.
And they had to include, like, emo Peter Parker, and he does a dance, and he kisses... Gwen Stacy, and he's like in front of his girlfriend, and he's like, why would you be upset about that? It's like, I don't fucking know. Like, why do you think you would be upset about it? Toby,
you idiot, Maguire.
You don't understand women at all.
You should come to me for advice.
So yeah, it's fine. I don't know. It has some good stuff in it. It has some bad stuff in it. It's okay. Yeah. Definitely the worst of the three. And then we've come to TASM.
TASM. Sit in silence for 16 minutes. In honor of the legacy that is TASM.
First of all, Garfield hair. Thoughts?
Insane.
Enormous.
If I were to...
If hair could be a planet. Jupiter. Go ahead.
I'll say how you describe this hair. This is some Gym Season 9 hair.
It is, though. Like,
that's such a good point.
Genius must have said that. It's huge. It's ridiculous. How does it fit in his fucking mask?
That's the Garfield hair.
And he takes it off, and then his hair is perfect. I don't know why I'm so upset about this, but
it's just because if you did it, you'd look like a frilled pillow.
My hair's looking alright these days. I need a haircut.
It's huge.
Immediately
That is some Garfield hair.
gets very self-conscious.
It's okay, I guess.
No, it's actually really
I really need to change.
I need to turn my life around.
Well, Garfield's always had huge hair, hasn't he?
Yeah. I think he's a good...
Person.
No, yeah.
No, we know that's not true.
No, he probably is. I think he's a good Peter Parker. Like, he gives a good performance, but he's just like he's been criticized for being too like cool because Peter Parker's supposed to be like kind of a nerd. And I think
Andrew Garfield is the pinnacle of just coolness.
Well, he is like.
Well, he is. That guy is dope.
Like, I don't know. I think nerds come in all shapes and Maguires. Fred just stared at me. Nerds can be sexy Andrew Garfield.
They come in all shapes and Maguires. Maguire is a specific shape. A human rhombus.
Oh my god. But I think I don't know. I think Tom Holland is sort of like the perfect medium between
cool and Maguire.
Because Maguire is such a cartoonish nerd. But I don't know. Yeah, I think Andrew Garfield, he might be a bit too... Like, they wanted his character to be like... But he is kind of really creepy. Like, he just stares at Emma Stone, and then he's just like... He does his, like, face. He's like... I don't know. I think he has good chemistry with her, though. Like, some of his stuff is like...
Well, she just ends up dying, doesn't she?
Well, that's the next one. But,
is that in the second?
Yeah,
okay.
But I think some of his, awkward...
Cracked egg.
Jesus Christ. Some of his awkward stuff is kind of just like... It feels very much like the director was like, just be awkward. He's like, do you know, do you want to eat some food? And like, okay. But I think generally they have good...
I see right through him. He's way too cool to act like that.
That's only something BHL and FTK could ever do.
Yeah. But I could totally be awkward about asking for some food.
But I think they generally have good chemistry. The story's fine. He's a big lizard man.
I haven't seen it. I've seen scenes, but...
Yeah, lizard dude. And he's like, I want to turn everyone into lizards. I'm like,
why? Come on.
Lizards suck. That's about it, really. That's all there is to that movie. Hair and lizards. I'm trying to think. I mean, there's
hair, lizards, and way too cool dudes.
There's some cool like action, like some swinging stuff, and that's all fine and good. But it's pretty solid. I remember really enjoying watching it. It's nothing insanely groundbreaking, but it's a solid TASM. God, I'm trying to think. His girlfriend's dad is like the cop, and he's like, I hate Spider-Man, and he's like, but Spider-Man's pretty good, and he's like, damn it, I hate Spider-Man.
God, you really brought me there.
So that's a good storyline, and then he dies, and then in the sequel he just sees his ghost everywhere. Like, he's like, ooh, I'm totally gonna kiss Emma Stone, and then he looks over and sees her dad's ghost, and he's like, oh damn, maybe I won't. It's pretty good. So yeah, TASM, pretty good. So if I were to rank these 4 films, I would go Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 1 and TASM, Spider-Man 1, then TASM, then Spider-Man 3.
Okay. I would probably go... I might go 1, 2, 3 TASM, just as we've talked about them, because...
My god damn.
Because the first one has got that finger scene, where you just take that out of context, it sounds really weird. But, believe me, I'm not the only one.
It's not like...
It's groundbreaking.
It's a cool moment.
It's the coolest.
The actual shot of the things coming out is not like the most iconic part of that.
No, it is.
Okay, yeah, fair. There's also the part where he falls and then he's like, my back! You remember that part?
I think you're talking about Batman. Batman.
Alright, well, that's our Maguire thoughts. God damn, these...
Mots?
I feel like the pods...
McWatts?
The pods are more coherent, but less insane when we're, like, recording not in the same room. So I don't know which is better. You get some pretty, like, measured, decent podcasting, and then you just get absolute insanity like these. So I don't know which is better, but you know what?
I know which one I prefer.
Yeah.
Neither.
When we press end record. So, it's time for...
Get down. News.
This comes to us from bestlifeonline.com. Random cruise fact, because it's pre-recorded. In 1998, Cruise, along with his bodyguards, chased down thieves in London who nearly stole away with $153,000 worth of jewelry from his then neighbor Rita Simmons.
Who's Rita Simmons?
No idea. Some rich lady, probably. Cruise sped to the rescue.
Oh.
After hearing the screams of the...
that in quotation.
That's the article.
Oh, okay.
They're like, yeah, Cruise sped to the rescue. Cruise
Come on.
strolled over like an asshole.
That man rolled down the street.
After hearing the screams of a woman down the road, where she was being mugged as she exited the car. So Cruise bloody Batmaning
who's just carrying $153,000 worth of jewelry on them?
Rita Simmons, bro.
Well, Rita Simmons needs to rethink her life. Tell you that much.
But yeah, I mean, can you imagine you're a burglar and you're like getting away with an epic heist, and then you look over and you see Tom f***ing Cruise running at you, and he's
not just Tom Cruise, Tom f***ing Cruise.
And it's like 8 bodyguards,
which is him in Ultra God mode.
That would be the most, similarly to when he yells at you on a movie set, that would be the most terrifying thing.
Oh my god.
Time for the announcements and such. Take it away, future us. Alright, so due to some timing difficulties and recording and all that, there are not going to be any announcements and such this week. There were a couple of cool things, which we'll talk about next week, but yeah, this week couldn't do the announcements and such. However, it will be back next week. So, I will just say in the meantime, you can find us on YouTube, the Poorly Planned Podcast, where there's exclusive content, even though there wasn't a pod video this week for reasons we'll discuss later, but generally exclusive content. And if you're listening on YouTube, we're on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, Poorly Planned Podcast, link down below. All right, very cool. Back to the pod. So,
whoa, those announcements were phantasmic. Anyways.
So thank you very much for listening. You can find me on YouTube, BHL Hudson, Instagram, Twitter, BHL_Hudson. I shorted out there for a second. I was like, where am I?
What platform am I doing here? How is that I make a living?
Or email the pod at bhlhudsonvids@gmail.com.
You can't do both. You can either find him on that or you can email the pod. If you do both, you might get legally charged with homicide. You can find me on Twitter at FTK_AdultSniper. You can find me on YouTube at FTK Space Gaming, and you can find me on Instagram at FDalgard.
Jesus, sorry. Thank you very much for listening, and we will see you next time.
Be my Nice.
Yeah.